Have you ever been told that protein is good for you no matter what? Well, that's not entirely true, especially if your kidneys aren't in their best shape. Here's the deal. Not all proteins are created equal, and for those living with kidney issues, some of them can be downright dangerous. Your kidneys have a big job filtering waste from your blood, especially the waste that gets produced when your body breaks down protein. If you overload your system with the wrong types of protein, you're not just making your kidneys work overtime, you could actually be speeding up their damage. That means higher levels of urea in your blood, more acid building up in your body, and a faster decline in kidney function. Sounds scary, right? But don't worry. You still need protein to stay strong, heal your body, and keep your energy levels up. The trick is choosing the right kinds, the ones that are easy on your kidneys, but still pack a nutritional punch. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 proteins that are excellent for kidney health, and 6 that you should absolutely avoid. We'll also talk about how to prepare them the smart way, how much of each to eat, and even how to shop wisely at your local grocery store. Stick around till the end, because I've got a bonus tip for you, a small daily habit that could make a huge difference in your kidney health. Trust me, it's something anyone can do. Let's start with one of the cleanest, kidney-friendly proteins out there: egg whites. Now I know, egg whites may not sound exciting, but when it comes to kidney health, they're absolute gold. Why? Because they deliver high-quality protein that your body can easily absorb and use to maintain muscles, support healing, and keep energy levels up, all without putting too much strain on your kidneys. Most people don't realize that a single egg white has only about 10 milligrams of phosphorus. Compare that to a whole egg, which has nearly 86 milligrams, for someone trying to protect their kidneys, especially when phosphorus control is critical. That difference is huge. The more phosphorus in your blood, the harder your kidneys have to work. And when they can't filter it properly, it builds up and leads to problems with bones, joints, and even heart health. Beyond phosphorus, egg whites are naturally low in saturated fat, especially compared to red meats or full-fat dairy. That's good news for your cardiovascular system too, because heart disease and kidney disease often go hand in hand. One egg white contains roughly 3.6 grams of pure, clean protein, making it a great way to keep your muscles strong without overwhelming your filtration system. Now, how should you prepare them? Steamed or boiled is best. Avoid frying egg whites in oil or butter, because that just adds unnecessary fats and can cancel out the benefits. I often tell patients to add egg whites into stir-fry veggies, mix them into oatmeal for breakfast, or include them in wraps and low-sodium salads. It's such a simple, affordable source of nutrition. There are some common mistakes people make, though. One is eating raw egg whites, thinking it's more natural, but raw whites can block biotin absorption, a B vitamin your body needs. Another issue is combining egg whites with processed toppings like cheese or commercial sauces. Many of these are loaded with hidden phosphorus and sodium. So if you're trying to keep your kidney workload down, clean preparation really matters. Whenever possible, go for pasture-raised or organic eggs. They tend to be free from additives and offer better nutritional quality. If you're buying liquid egg whites, check that there are no added preservatives. The simpler, the better. I've seen patients who replace meat with egg whites just 3 to 4 times a week show noticeable improvements in their energy and lab results. That's the kind of small change that can make a big difference over time. Now let's move over to one of my favorite plant-based options for people with kidney issues: good old tofu. Tofu often gets overlooked, but it's actually a superstar when it comes to delivering plant-based protein without harming the kidneys. Half a cup of tofu provides about 10 grams of protein. That's a solid amount, especially considering that it contains significantly less phosphorus than animal proteins. On top of that, tofu comes packed with isoflavones, powerful plant compounds that reduce inflammation, which is one of the underlying culprits behind kidney damage. Plus, tofu is easier on digestion. It doesn't produce as many waste byproducts during breakdown, meaning your kidneys don't have to work overtime to process it. I've seen this firsthand. Patients who switch out meat for tofu a few times a week often report feeling less bloated, lighter, and more energized. How you cook tofu makes a difference. 2. Instead of frying it in oil or adding salty sauces, try baking it with herbs, grilling it lightly, or crumbling soft tofu into soups and stews. You can even blend silken tofu into smoothies for an extra protein kick that's creamy and satisfying. Portion control still matters. About half a cup, 3 times a week, is a great starting point. If you're shopping for tofu, choose organic and non-GMO brands whenever possible. Also, steer clear of pre-seasoned or flavored tofu. These often come loaded with sodium and preservatives, especially phosphates, which you want to avoid. A lot of people think because tofu is plant-based, it's always healthy, but that's not the case when it's been heavily processed. Always read the label. And if you see words like phosphate or monosodium glutamate, that's a red flag. Tofu has been a game changer for many of my patients. It's versatile, gentle on the kidneys, and still gives you that satisfying feeling of fullness. If you've never tried it or thought it was bland, experiment with different cooking styles and seasonings. You might be surprised at how much you enjoy it. Between egg whites and tofu, you've already got 2 protein sources that can help protect your kidneys, reduce inflammation, and keep you feeling strong. So if you're looking for real, sustainable ways to eat better for your kidneys, this is a great place to start. Now let's talk about a protein source that comes from the ocean and often flies under the radar: tilapia. When people think about fish, they might immediately picture salmon or tuna, but tilapia deserves its own spotlight, especially if you're managing kidney health. It's lean, easy to digest, and packs a serious protein punch without overloading your system with phosphorus or fat. Let's break it down. A 100-gram serving of tilapia gives you about 22 grams of protein, but only around 170 milligrams of phosphorus. That's a pretty favorable ratio, especially compared to meats like beef or pork, which often have both high protein and high phosphorus levels that make the kidneys work harder than they need to. Tilapia's light, flaky texture is also much easier on the digestive system. Patients with reduced kidney function often find that heavier meats make them feel sluggish, bloated, or just uncomfortable. There's also the bonus of micronutrients. Tilapia contains selenium, which acts as an antioxidant, and vitamin B12, which supports nerve function and helps your body produce red blood cells. These nutrients work in the background to support overall kidney function and reduce oxidative stress. When it comes to cooking tilapia, simple is better. Steaming, baking, or grilling preserves the natural flavor and avoids adding unhealthy fats or excess sodium. I always recommend avoiding breading or frying the fish once you start adding flour, oil, and sauces. You lose the benefits and load your plate with things your kidneys might struggle to process. Instead, season with herbs like dill, parsley, or a bit of lemon zest for flavor that's kidney-safe and refreshing. When you shop for tilapia, try to find sources that are certified for quality, whether wild-caught or responsibly farmed. Avoid fish from suppliers known for poor safety standards, especially international imports that don't meet the same regulations. Your kidneys will thank you for choosing cleaner proteins. One thing I've noticed is that many of my patients didn't even consider fish like tilapia until they saw improvements in their lab results after switching away from red meats. It's those kinds of small dietary changes, just 1 or 2 servings per week, that can slowly but surely shift your health in the right direction. Now let's switch gears a bit and look at a protein source that isn't from animals or soy. It's a tiny seed with a nutty flavor that often gets forgotten: quinoa. This little grain is a complete protein, which means it gives you all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to function, recover, and build strength. For people with kidney issues who are trying to reduce their intake of meat or dairy, quinoa is a fantastic plant-based alternative. 1 cup of cooked quinoa contains around 8 grams of protein. That may not sound like a lot at first glance, but when combined with vegetables or tofu, it adds up to a very satisfying, kidney-friendly meal. One of the biggest advantages of quinoa is that it's naturally lower in phosphorus and potassium than most legumes, making it easier for your kidneys to handle. And because it's packed with fiber, it also helps promote better digestion and reduce the buildup of uremic toxins. Cooking quinoa is pretty simple, but there's one step you don't want to skip: rinse it thoroughly before cooking. That outer layer contains saponins, which can cause bitterness and digestive irritation. Once you've rinsed it well, you can prepare it just like rice or couscous. Use water or low-sodium vegetable broth and combine it with steamed greens, herbs, and maybe a bit of olive oil for a meal that's both nourishing and easy on the kidneys. I often recommend quinoa to patients who are newly diagnosed with kidney issues and looking to shift their diet without feeling deprived. It's comforting, versatile, and gives you energy without any of the heavy after effects that can come from animal protein. Whether you're using it in a warm grain bowl or tossing it into a cold salad, it's a smart staple to keep in your pantry. If you've never tried quinoa before, give it a chance. It might surprise you not just in how good it tastes, but in how good you feel afterward. Between tilapia and quinoa, you've got 2 powerful tools to support your kidney function and keep your nutrition goals on track. Let's kick off the list of proteins you should avoid by talking about one that often gets mistaken for a healthier choice: turkey bacon. Now, I get it. A lot of folks switch to turkey bacon thinking they're making a smarter move. It sounds leaner, sounds lighter, and the word turkey just feels less harmful than pork. Right. But here's the truth: turkey bacon is heavily processed and packed with things that can be pretty damaging if you have kidney issues. Just 1 slice of turkey bacon can have over 500 milligrams of sodium. That's a huge amount, especially for someone trying to manage high blood pressure or reduce fluid retention, which is often necessary for people with compromised kidney function. High sodium intake forces your kidneys to work overtime, and over time, that extra strain adds up. Not only does it impact kidney filtration, but it also increases the risk of heart disease, a double whammy for anyone dealing with renal concerns. But it's not just the salt. Many brands of turkey bacon are preserved with phosphate additives. These synthetic phosphates get absorbed by your body much more easily than natural phosphorus found in whole foods, meaning your blood levels rise faster and higher. When phosphorus levels get too high, it can pull calcium out of your bones and start causing real damage not just to your skeleton, but to your heart and blood vessels too. I've had patients who thought they were doing the right thing by eating turkey bacon, only to see their labs worsen and symptoms like swelling and fatigue creep back in. Processed doesn't always mean visible. The danger is in what you can't taste or see. Now let's move on to something that might surprise a lot of people: red lentils. On the surface, they seem like a great option. They're plant-based, full of fiber, and often found in health foods or vegetarian recipes. But here's what many people don't realize: red lentils are also extremely high in phosphorus and potassium, 2 minerals that can become problematic for anyone with reduced kidney function. Just 1 cup of cooked red lentils can have over 350 milligrams of phosphorus and close to 700 milligrams of potassium. Those are hefty numbers. And they add up fast, especially if you're eating lentil soups, stews, or curries several times a week. The problem is that excess potassium can cause serious heart rhythm issues, while high phosphorus throws off your mineral balance and accelerates bone and kidney damage. It's easy to assume that just because something is plant-based, it's automatically safe or healthy, but that's not always the case. For kidney patients, it's about managing both the type and the amount of protein and minerals they take in. Red lentils might be fine in tiny portions once in a while, but regular consumption could spell trouble. If you're a fan of lentils, try switching to lower potassium legumes and always watch your portion sizes. Sometimes the healthiest choice is not just what you eat, but how much and how often. Both turkey bacon and red lentils are great examples of how even foods that sound healthy can have a hidden impact on your kidneys. Awareness is key, and smart substitutions can help you keep your kidneys working strong for the long haul. Now let's talk about a classic American staple that's especially rough on the kidneys: hot dogs. For a lot of people, hot dogs bring back memories of cookouts, ball games, or family barbecues. They're easy, convenient, and they taste good. But when it comes to kidney health, they're one of the worst protein choices you can make. Why? Because hot dogs are loaded with additives that make your kidneys work overtime. First off, they're high in sodium, really high. Just one regular hot dog can contain over 600 milligrams of sodium. And that's before you even add the bun, the ketchup, or the relish. When your sodium intake gets too high, it raises your blood pressure and causes your body to hold on to extra fluid. That creates a lot of extra work for your kidneys, which are already trying to manage filtering waste and regulating fluid balance. But sodium isn't the only problem. Hot dogs are also preserved with nitrates and phosphates, two big troublemakers. Nitrates increase the acid load in your body, which contributes to inflammation. That inflammation can damage the tiny blood vessels in your kidneys and interfere with proper filtration. Phosphates, on the other hand, are absorbed quickly by your body and can throw off your calcium-phosphorus balance, which affects your bones and heart over time. And let's not forget about the fats. The type of fat used in most hot dogs, often oxidized or heavily processed, adds to the overall oxidative stress in your body. That means more cellular damage, more inflammation, and more risk for long-term kidney decline. It's not just about what's in hot dogs, but how those ingredients interact in your body over time. I've had patients who used to eat hot dogs 2 or 3 times a week, thinking it wasn't a big deal. But once we started tracking their sodium and phosphorus intake and comparing that with their blood pressure and kidney function, the connection became very clear. Cutting out processed meats like hot dogs almost always led to better lab numbers and less fluid retention within just a few weeks. Next, let's shift to something a little more modern: whey protein isolate. Now don't get me wrong, protein shakes can be convenient, especially for people trying to build muscle or recover after workouts. But when you're dealing with kidney problems, whey protein isolate is not your friend. Whey isolate is super concentrated. That means it has high levels of nitrogen waste, which your kidneys have to eliminate. For someone with healthy kidneys, that might not be a big issue, but if your kidney function is already compromised, those extra nitrogen byproducts can build up fast. That leads to more stress on your kidneys and can accelerate the damage. Plus, many commercial whey protein powders also come with added phosphorus and artificial ingredients, things like flavoring agents, sweeteners, and preservatives. These additives can quietly push your mineral levels out of balance without you even realizing it. Unlike whole food sources of protein, whey isolates don't come with natural fiber, antioxidants, or the nutrients your body needs to process protein safely and efficiently. A lot of patients have switched to these powders thinking they were being healthy or doing something good for their bodies. but they ended up with worsening kidney numbers, fatigue, and digestive issues. If you're looking for extra protein, it's almost always better to stick with natural, whole food sources like egg whites, tofu, or soft-cooked fish. Both hot dogs and whey protein isolate are tricky because they're often disguised as normal or healthy choices. But when you look closer, the risks to your kidneys are real. Being mindful about what goes into your body is one of the most powerful tools you have for protecting your health, especially your kidneys. Let's move into another pair of proteins that may seem harmless at first glance, but could actually put a lot of stress on your kidneys: canned black beans and beefsteak. Starting with canned black beans. This one might catch you off guard because beans are usually seen as a health food, and they can be, but when they're canned, the story changes. Canned black beans are often soaked and stored in a salty liquid that can significantly boost the sodium content. Even when you rinse them, a lot of that sodium sticks around. A single cup of canned black beans can contain over 600 milligrams of potassium and more than 400 milligrams of sodium. That's a dangerous combo if you're dealing with kidney problems. High potassium levels can lead to irregular heart rhythms, and the added sodium increases blood pressure and causes fluid retention. Your kidneys are... Now, there are some workarounds. If you love black beans, opt for dried ones instead. When you soak and cook them yourself, you can control the sodium and reduce the potassium content by rinsing them thoroughly. But even then, portion size matters. Kidney health isn't just about what you eat, it's about how much and how consistently. I've seen people unintentionally cause harm by eating healthy foods in unhealthy quantities. Switching gears, let's talk about beefsteak. For many, a nice steak is the centerpiece of a meal: rich, flavorful, satisfying. But it's also rich in phosphorus, saturated fat, and compounds like purines, which break down into uric acid. That last one is especially important because when uric acid levels rise, they can lead to gout, a painful joint condition that's much more common among people with chronic kidney disease. Beefsteak is also heavy on your digestive and filtration systems. Even lean cuts contain more phosphorus and saturated fat than your kidneys would prefer. And the cooking methods people often use, like grilling or pan-searing with butter, just add to the problem. These methods introduce oxidized fats and charred compounds that increase oxidative stress throughout the body, including the kidneys. A lot of patients ask me if they can still enjoy red meat in moderation. The truth is, if your kidney function is stable and you're mindful of portions, the occasional lean cut isn't the end of the world. But for people with declining function, even small amounts of red meat can lead to noticeable setbacks: higher creatinine, swelling, fatigue. Over the years, I've watched lab results improve dramatically when patients reduce red meat or cut it out altogether. What matters most is understanding how different proteins affect your body beyond just taste or tradition. Canned black beans and beefsteak might seem like everyday choices, but for someone managing kidney health, they require a second look. Awareness, preparation, and portion control can make all the difference in how your kidneys function day to day. Let's wrap up with something simple, free, and surprisingly powerful: walking in the morning. That's right. One of the most underrated habits for kidney health doesn't come in a pill, a bottle, or a diet plan. It's just walking. Ideally, first thing in the morning. You don't need fancy sneakers or a gym membership. All you need is a little commitment and a few quiet minutes outside. Why does morning walking matter? Because it gets your blood flowing right after you've been lying still all night. That boost in circulation helps your kidneys filter waste more efficiently, moves excess fluid out of your body, and even jumpstarts your metabolism. People with kidney issues often struggle with swelling in the legs or ankles something a 20 to 30-minute walk can begin to improve quickly. There's also the mental benefit. Walking outdoors, especially in the early morning light, helps regulate your circadian rhythm, supports mental clarity, and reduces stress. And less stress means lower cortisol levels, which are known to negatively affect kidney function when left unchecked. Some of my patients say walking became their favorite part of the day, a chance to breathe, reflect, and feel more in control of their health journey. You might be wondering, how often should I walk? The sweet spot seems to be at least 5 days a week, even if you can't manage 30 minutes at once. 2 15-minute walks still give you many of the same benefits. What matters most is consistency. The body and especially the kidneys respond well to regular rhythms. Now, let's bring everything together. Throughout this video, we've talked about proteins, some that support kidney health and others that can seriously hurt it. You've learned about egg whites, tofu, tilapia, and quinoa as 4 powerful protein choices that give your body what it needs without overwhelming your kidneys. And on the flip side, we exposed 6 problematic proteins: turkey bacon, red lentils, hot dogs, whey protein isolate, canned black beans, and beef steak. These might be common in your diet, but they carry risks that are often invisible until kidney function starts to drop. The good news: you don't have to make all these changes overnight. Start with 1 or 2 swaps. Replace your usual breakfast meat with egg whites or tofu. Try fish instead of beef once or twice a week. Pay attention to how your body feels. Look at your next lab results. The small changes, over time, are what lead to big shifts. And remember, food is just part of the story. Movement, sleep, hydration, and mindset all play a role in kidney health. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to begin, start simple. Take that morning walk, eat 1 cleaner meal, and stay curious, because learning more about your body is the first step toward healing it. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video. Leave a comment sharing your favorite kidney-friendly meal or routine, and subscribe for more insights. Your kidneys might be quiet, but they're working hard for you every single day. Let's help them out one smart choice at a time.